Since the early days of YouTube, one thing was always known to bring a crowd around you, and a community of performing remarkably. Negativity towards anything. AVGN, nostalgia critic, game grumps, even when not angry, there's always the click value that lures defending fans to your title. It either works or sticks out like a big no-enter sign strapped to your almost too revealing chest. Today I'm going to talk about Zero Punctuation, the well-known 5-minute review series by Ben Yahtzee Crosshair. If what you mean by review is the game critic version of the John Oliver show. Both people are known for agreeing on widely agreed on things, having heavy British accent and using it to say fuck a lot, which by itself is half the kicker of their punchlines. Exaggerating simple issues into something just like putting glue all over your groin area. It didn't take much effort, but nobody really did that exactly like that out of the blue, so you can enjoy all the chuckles for the upcoming minute by then the video is over. If Yahtzee does one thing right, he's playing his script so they don't have to actually mean much, but the pacing of the video is so overkill that when you slow down 4 minutes into the review and for first sentence of view can probably digest as a dick joke, then he can rest happening knowing his dick was quite more than digested that night. It keeps you chuckling up until the time to choose the next video, which is indeed an addictive nature. The downside is everything else. Congratulations, by being addicted to one appealing aspect of something and happily ignoring the mindlessness of it, I successfully identify myself as a future drug abuser. Woo fucking who. Now, one could argue this is actually a good thing, and that's a good way to build up a fanbase, but you'll notice that the very same one would argue that, would also say that Angry Joe isn't a totally repulsive title that's strapped into every thumbnail's ballsack to make it just as appealing. It is. Stop trying to cover your faves from 5 years ago with your full screen, Jesus Christ, you already proved to me you can reach far enough besides it. Another issue Yahtzee has to constantly manage is the time constraint and video length. Since the start of the series, the videos are slightly shorter than 5 minutes, then coded to be over 5 a day intro and outro. This doesn't work for a review, much less in the modern YouTube landscape. Poor Jared didn't quit 1 minute review because it's hard or pointless to just point out the major things in the game that people should consider. It just wasn't rewarding enough compared to normal reviews. It wasn't attractive, it was a bit of a gimmick. If I'm considering what to eat outside, I'm not going to ask the homeless man outside with a sign that says quick advice next turnover on it. I'll ask my friend to go to reputable critics online. It's the 21st century, you don't have to take things at face value. A 5-minute review isn't enough for all games if you know that's your time limit. And within this time limit, Yahtzee usually takes a splendidly long time to wave his negative points around like the peacock is known to be. Yes, we get it, you're an English British guy, but you can also credit games once in a while. His Wikipedia page is an entire 3 lines that games he didn't entirely hate off of tens, maybe hundreds of reviews. That's his actual appeal. Don't go to watch Zero Punctuation as a source of valid opinion and not to consider buying an old game. I just want to see Yahtzee do his gig, and goddamn he does it. It's like the fish market. You go to his channel, even though you know everything there will probably stink, you and many others stop and look at the selection. You inspect a handful of more of the fish until you finally say, yep, that sure does fucking stink, and then you walk away and wondering what you can do with the information. Also, your fish could have been caviar, but no, they're not, and that's a problem. That's another thing that Yahtzee does a lot when he runs out of negative bullet points, saying a game isn't another game in its genre, and with a serious case of Dark Souls comparitis. This game could have been this, could have been that. Look at this game doing things right. Look at Dark Souls doing this thing. Why didn't this game take from that? A lot of things that nobody wouldn't need to cross anyone's mind since they're not related to the game and are used as point against it. The most recurring complaint is starting off the review by dwelling on a franchise and the company's path, making sure the man in the electric chair is comfy enough and that he's well aware of why he's sitting there because his mom told him to. Games enter Zero Punctuation to get a small zap on their bum and jump back off and not get a real critique. Almost every video ends on a confusing note without proper close-up, leaving many reviews as a haystack of barbed wire of the game's nads and just as appealing to untangle. And since we mentioned time constraint, let's talk about the presentation. Yes, this is hilariously meta and very smart for presenting this part like this. Thanks, Detective Pikachu, piss off. This animation, which is more of a fast-paced slideshow, establishes the art style of the series since the early days. It used to be a unique thing which has since been adopted by the very friendly and non-toxic PC Master Race community, which does give a very good hint as to who this person's actual fans are. People who are unwilling to change their mind and glad to argue over nothing. Never could have seen that coming from a man wearing fedoras in 2018. Low blows aside, the presentation is enjoyable, establishing an asset to present certain things in the game and just keeping that rolling as the video goes. For example, Ash being a black turd with his eyes in the end is not a video, it was a nice gig. The simplistic art style and use of commonplace PNGs is also grabbing gigs, since again, because you know the games you are going to watch a video about, you're curious to see how they're represented. I wonder if this would be a dick waving a sword or a blob waving a dick. Life is full of mysteries, isn't it?